session, so you can take that as a starting point. So today I would be mainly addressing the issue related to uh, the error table. Okay, now how many, like if you recall, when we started this course, my first assignment was only to write a code where you will make some number of errors which would be different. Correct. And like I'm glad to tell you here, like majority of you people tried very well and got good results in terms of finding out different errors in the C code. But same case may be true for assembly programming too. But the point over here is like we don't have kind of per se complete practical knowledge of how to make use of assembly language, though we are using it bit by a small fraction rather of assembly programming. Now, when we really deal with such kind of aspects, ultimately error will be the one which would be making that impact on a high manner. Correct. And then like this error would be this error catching would be one best mechanism that you may really work on finding out how exactly that error can be generated, because we have to generate an error so that we can find out what kind of mistakes a programmer can do by making use of while making use of my translator. Correct. So like what are the possible errors that you have faced in assembly for a while? So what are the programs that we took? So majority of them would be like operand missing and so on. Now, whenever we are dealing with such kind of aspects rather of different instructions to be used whenever a code is to be written. Right. So if I go say for example writing this code 2108.21.asm. So let me write this a db10. Now I'm purposefully making an error. Section dot text global main return. Now you may see that I have added one space over here as before this b and between dot and b, and then I'm using this declarative db which was supposed to be used in say data section, but I'm using it here. Correct. So let us try assembling this.
Sir, you have not shared the screen.
Oh, I have rather. I can see the screen. Others, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I
We can
can
see.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So maybe like I don't know who was not able to get it. You can log out and then rejoin. Maybe helpful for you.
Yes, sir.
So okay. So if I try writing this, so it says unknown section attribute. Now you will see over here that there is warning given, and it is talking about line number 1. So like while the errors are thrown, we need to keep information about line number as well. Correct. So let me correct that error. Say for a while, which I said like this dot. So I will correct this and I will go back and then I will fire. Now it is giving me second thing. Attempt to initialize memory in BSS section dot BSS ignored. Again, it is a warning, but now it is with line number 2. So if I go to line number 2, then I can see that okay, I did something, but this what are the error that was shown on the screen? Okay, like it is very difficult for me to identify what exactly error I made. Correct, as in a programmer perspective. Now if I say do this, then nothing would be shown. But can it assure me that okay, there is no error or warning? Because we have seen like whenever we are working with GCC, better thing you can do is like what? Try to compile the code with the W all option, show all warnings. Similarly, here you can make use of this W other. Correct. But now the point over here is how exactly this combinations of error would be picked. So let us do one thing. Let us try to imagine this as a file for a while. Okay, so let me share another screen with you. Okay, now let me type writing the errors. Like for example, first error that I saw or warning I saw. So let me categorize this W. So I will say W, say which is warning for me, and the text. So let us say I'm writing the one which was shown there, unknown action, attribute, and so on. Suppose I have written that error. Fine. Second, I do see again a warning. Attempt to initialize memory. Now you will see here, like though I'm not writing here the complete text, but let us imagine this, that I have written the complete text here. Okay, because it will take, I have to copy paste it from other terminal. Now when we do talk about this, like what are the error that I made there? Okay, so will it be shown for all other part of code as well, or will it be only one warning? So if I write a code in the similar manner, say for example, let me go back. And show you this. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm making the change in the code and I'm writing this 2 lines now there, correct? So A and B, I declared 2. Now let me try to assemble this code again. Now you will see that it is showing me along with the line number. Now you remember here, like line number 2, program name, line number 2. Okay. Program name colon line number colon warning colon and then your text. Correct. Similarly, same thing. Now line number is changed. Rest of the things are same. Rest of the things are kept same. Now, how is it going to print this every time or character by character, or it is going to store this at one point of time because it is to be saved somewhere before it reaches to last line. So is it going to display this error line by line or what? Correct. Or is it going to show me all errors because I have to find out all the errors. So why not think of the model? Okay, let us try to map this in terms of say a tabular structure. So when I said that, okay, if my errors are stored like this, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, then like there might be some errors too. Like for example, in this case, we had warnings, correct? So my third element possibly could be an error. Correct. And then there might be a text added here. So for example, say insufficient operands. So by the way, like this may not be the exact error statement, but let us imagine this. Suppose I have this kind of stuff. Now how exactly I'm going to save this? So this would be one table which would be having this information. So I can imagine that this would be a tabular form. One column would be there like which tells me whether it is warning or error because I need to capture this. So whether I'm going to keep warnings and errors in single table or I'm going to keep them separately because I need to know what kind of different warnings my program is going to generate. Right? What different types of errors my program is going to generate. They need to know this. Otherwise, like now you must have seen like whenever a software is delivered or like even there is a beta program you must have seen like you majority of you might have joined rather the beta program carried out by different software companies for their softwares. Correct. So now you may imagine or you may consider that okay they might be providing you similar kind of stuff before they release it as a complete software so that you can communicate them what extra error that you found. Correct. So like let us imagine that if we try to map this whole stuff into a tabular form. So you will be having one error table. OK, that error table would be containing say for example some ID. OK, which would be kind of a key for identifying. OK, then you can have it as a type. Now this type can vary like it could be compile time error. OK, or one can say assembly time error. linking time error, runtime error. It could be different, correct? So some errors can be seen prior before you create an executable. Some errors can be seen later when you really get it. But the errors which are shown at runtime may not be part of your assembler. They would be part of loader now. The error would be because of the mechanism written in the loader which executes your code. But right now we are talking about assembly error. So you may consider some kind of structure like this. Now, when you start reading the code, correct? When you start reading the code, now you identified that, okay, your program name would be written. Okay, what is to be displayed in the printf? So then you have what the thing text that we saw with the error was program name dot asm. Correct. Then we saw colon. Then we saw line number. So let's use this one only. Okay, so line number. Then we saw colon. Okay. And then if it is error, then error word. Or if it is warning, then warning word. I will show you that part too. Now your text. So for example, attempt to initialize. Attempt to initialize and so on. Suppose this is how it is to be displayed. Now what is going to change? This is going to change. This is going to change. But we don't know. Like here in this case, what are the error that I'm trying to tell? Actually, it was in our record warning. Correct? As per the record that we created above. Okay, so warning, then colon, and then your text. Whatever the way it is shown. But now, am I going to store this somewhere? Like how exactly this would be addressed? Now one line can have multiple errors, multiple problems in the code. Correct. Now if I try to write a code, say for a while, which can contain, I don't know whether are we going to will we be able to get that kind of error here, but let us try doing it. Okay, so let me write this code. Okay, and go to Emacs, and then here now it says instruction expected. Only one error it showed, correct? Now you may see like earlier case was program name, then line colon, line number, colon, then warning. Now you may see if error is there, then it is displaying that error word. And now like it can have multiple things like is it a parsing error or what? So parsing means what now? See, now you have opcode table already created. Now you are going to verify what are the instructions are that are written by the programmer in the code. Okay, are there really instructions or not? Right now, we are not able to understand whether it is because of instruction or what exactly it is. So let me go to line number 7 that way. Now let us see what is the line number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let us make the correction. Let us see now what error it is shown. What it is showing us. Now error is changed. You may see in the same line we had different errors, correct? But when you corrected one, there might be another. Correct? So let us go back. Let us write it as EDX. Say for example, if I write this EDX, let me try this again. Now again you may see like there is an error. Now line number 2 and 3. What was the line the error that was displayed there? Earlier it was shown. Now it is showing warning. So that means what? It accepted this kind of line. It accepted this kind of line. The problem is here. So let me now change this. Res B, and then NASA. Now my program got certified saying that okay, no error found. Now how exactly this would be managed then? how exactly this should be managed then. If at all we have to manage this, then ultimately we would be requiring some kind of mechanism which will help us rather to gain access of different errors that are coming up, because we are not sure what kind of errors a programmer is going to make. So you have to collect some kind of errors and then add them into some form. It could be a file the way that I showed you before a while, like this, correct? The type of error. So here I was saying, sorry. So let me say type and then error text. So you are going to store this. And one another table would be there because all errors to be shown differently. Now you might have seen in our case, some errors are shown there. When they are there, warnings may not be shown. When errors are corrected, then warnings would be shown. Correct. So like you can think of this. So you will be having line number stored, line number along with error number. Because you cannot always display this at every line. You are going to say return 1 whenever you see this kind of error or this kind of warning. You have to say return 1. So this 1 would be passed here and so as to save here, and then error number. Then what exactly it would be doing at the time of displaying you all errors? It will display like this: program name, okay, .asm, colon, line number, colon. Now line number and this error number would be there. Now error number is here. It will find out from this table what is the error number. So if it gets 1, then 1 would be replaced by this. It will try to scratch this line. So suppose line number 1, you saw error number 3. Line number 2, you saw error number 3. Line number 4, 3, you saw error number 3. So if it gets displayed that way, so are we going to get similar kind of error at 2 lines? Okay, let us even check. Am I going to get same kind of error message for the code that I'm writing? Okay, so let me go back to again my Linux terminal. Let me check this code now. Okay, so here I will write same thing. AL, here we will write DL. Okay, now in this case I will say MAV, MBV. Now let us see whether is it showing us 2 errors or 1 error. Now you will see that 2 errors are shown. Now what is same here? This line is same. This part is same. What is changing is this line number. That's what I was trying to tell you. Like in what is the screen that I shared earlier, that your error messages should be containing this information, and you are not going to write this line every time here because you will write here and then you are going to display it here. It needs to be picked from somewhere. So this error table, you can implement it as a table, or otherwise you keep doing this by fetching that line respectively. Like your return value would be this message. Otherwise your return value would be the ID number where you stored all errors. Now how exactly your assemblers might be doing this? Now you made error number 5. You made error number 10. They need to keep this history of the problems the user may get added over there in terms of the kind of errors that he or she is going to make in the code. And you are not sure what kind of different errors or problems that users may create while writing the code. Now, when I said problems that may create problem for your system, then your translator, because if your translator cannot understand, then it should throw the errors that way. Right. So think this again as one of the data structure, which definitely could be useful for you in terms of implementation of the assembler. Okay. So I have given you 3 data structures: symbol table, opcode table. Already we discussed about it. Literal table a bit I told about it. Like we already saw the transformation of data section to the respective say notations, like notation in the sense of convergence. Like okay, like what is to be done if it is a text. They read it as a text, convert it to ASCII, and then convert to hex. Right? That's what the process carried out for string. Same thing with numbers. If it is a decimal number, then convert it to hex. So it is following the notations like Little Indian. I'm not going to insist you that you should use this Little Indian notation, but it is totally your decision what to use and what not to use. Is that okay? Any question you can ask if there is any. Yes, please. Mahesh, Sahil. Amir, Kazi. Seems all boys joined. Ritika is there only one, I think. Ritika, Sneha, are you there? Yes, I'm not able to hear you.
Yes, sir.